she's Rick, the critic, 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 Rick, the critic. When she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick, the critic. When she all up in city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it, let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic, Rick, the critic.
Hi, I'm Rick the critic, and welcome. I'm so happy to be able to share today with you, and boy, this must be one of the hottest days of the year. It's April, and I thought it was April showers brings Mayflowers. Anyway, so much for that. I mean, it's like triple digits here, and it's, I don't know, what can I say? I want to talk to you seriously about a few things today. First of all, last week, I fell looking at a house in Altadena, and you know, there are a lot of empty houses, and so I'm looking at a house, and as I'm looking, I missed a step and fell. So I ended up having to go to the emergency at Huntington Hospital, and I want to tell you this, guys, I was never so impressed. I mean, I went to Huntington Hospital. The guy from the emergency exit wheeled me in. I couldn't walk. The people there were just fantastic. It was art. It was it was just wonderful. And I just can't say enough about Huntington Hospital. I was just very, very pleased with the service. I was very pleased with the nurses. The doctor was just great. The time frame was, I think I went in like, oh gosh, because I couldn't bear it. I stayed home until about 10 and I couldn't take it anymore, and I went in. But I was out of there towards the morning time, but they made just really took good care of me and made very, very sure that I was able to leave out on a walker. Could you imagine me walking out on a walker? And I had this immobilizer on my leg, so I really looked like this old lady walking out on this walker. But anyway, I just want to say to anyone that Huntington Hospital, you know what, they receive donations, all that. Listen, they can get my money from this point on. I was very, very pleased with Huntington's staff. Now, on the other tip, after that, getting up in the middle of the night, I took a stumble going to the restroom, and when I did, I twisted the foot again and had to go to General Hospital. Oh my God. When I tell you, I got there at 10 o'clock at night. Again, it was unbearable. I got there at 10 o'clock at night because I couldn't sleep. About 4 o'clock that morning, I said to them, listen, you know, how much longer will I have to wait? And she looked at me just like it was nothing. She says, oh, you only have about a 15 to 30 hour wait. I said, excuse me, you mean 15 to 30 minutes? She said, no, 15 to 30 hours. Now I'm looking at, you know, General Hospital, and they call it LA something, LAUSD, or I don't know what they call it, but it's General Hospital, the old General Hospital on Marengo. I mean, they have this wonderful room, this glass. They've done all this updating and upgrading to the hospital, and the service is just pathetic. I mean, there was a woman there that just went into some type of coma, and only then did they come in and then take her back in. So what happened was I ended up staying there for probably around, well, I got there at 10 o'clock at night. At 3 o'clock the next day, I was number 6. So the service there, and when I asked, I said, are there enough doctors? And the nurse said to me that everyone comes in for an emergency situation, and it's not really an emergency, and that they service people from Riverside and all over. Well, in comparison to the Huntington, I was just in awe, and I thought, God, please, I don't ever want to have to go to General Hospital again. If I'm in LA, I just try to make my way, crawl to Huntington Hospital. But what I want to say to the people that do go into the emergency for those little things like a sore throat, or they stub their toe and they're not a diabetic, all those little things, they tell me that it makes a world of difference. Now, from 15 to 30 hours, that is quite a lot of hours. So if we could cut that in half and come in with real emergencies, if that is the case, then please, guys, let's just do it. Let's be a little conscious about going in if we have a runny nose or we have a sore throat. There are real emergencies, and if you are having a real emergency, then by all means you should go to the hospital. That's what the emergency hospital is for. But when I was told that I had a 15 to 30 hour wait, it just took my breath away. So that's enough on General Hospital. So as far as General Hospital is concerned, Zilt, Suckwall, Huntington, my favorite. Now, the other place I want to talk about is 24-hour fitness. And I had a guest that was supposed to come on. I guess he chickened out. We were at 24-hour fitness now, because I really need to get a clear understanding about 24-hour fitness, because I'm having a tough time with this. I get off late. And I don't generally access the gym until like after midnight. Okay, so when I get there after midnight, the water, the dry sauna, the steam sauna, the wet sauna, the jacuzzi, all of those things are unavailable to me. The only thing that is available to me is the treadmill and the other little exercise things. Well, I really like the water sports. I really do. I mean, that's what I like about it, because after I do my little treadmill thing, then I can go to the jacuzzi and go into the steam and then it makes my night really, really okay. I can go to bed and rest. So I can't do that at 24-hour fitness. So I'm a little pissed off with 24-hour fitness, because I'm really trying to understand what the 24-hour fitness thing means. I mean, if we can't access the gym 24 hours and use all the facilities, I do know that they have to clean up. I know that they've got to clean the jacuzzi out. They've got to clean the steam and this, clean the saunas out. I understand all that. But I'm saying between 3 and 4, between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock is plenty enough time to do what they need to do, where we could have access to the water things. They should stay open at least till after midnight, at least till 2 o'clock. So I called T. Mahone, I think his name is, who is a manager, assistant sales manager there at the gym. And he said to me, well, okay, we're going to start to leave it open a little later, because we've heard some other complaints. I don't know about most, but I work a couple of jobs. And so I do have to, that's the only time that I can access the gym. So I went back to the gym, and got there at 12 o'clock. There were some irate people there. I mean, they looked like they might have been drunk. They might have been high. I don't know what the situation was. But as I talked to the guy there, Rudy, we said, Rick, this is the reason why we don't leave the gym, the water sports open till after midnight, because of these guys that come in and they get high, they get belligerent, irate, they get, just really silly. And so I said, you know what? We've got a great police captain. What is it? Roosevelt Horn, or is it Roosevelt Blow? I think it's Blow or Horn. Anyway, I've never met him, but he's a super, super nice guy. I mean, anytime we've asked him to do some extra patrols, or anytime we've asked him for things to do in the community, he's always been very accommodating, and he's an awfully nice guy. I've never met him, just only through coming in and talking to one of the sergeants and just getting a note through to him or a message through to him. And he's very, very accommodating. So what I'm asking the public, because I don't feel like we should have to suffer because we got a few bad apples to come in and we don't have access to the gym. I think that's a bunch of crap. I think that, now there was some security there when I was there. They still closed the pool down, but there was some security there, and he had to actually escort this guy out of the gym because he was just, I'm pretty sure he was under the influence of something. Now, I don't know if we need to just all get together, all of those of us that go to the gym after midnight as myself, or because I don't have time during the daytime. I do really want to see that 24-hour fitness work, work out for us, because we do need something in the Altadena area, and that's the only gym that we have in the Altadena area, or else we'd have to go down to Pasadena, South Pasadena, or what have you, to access those facilities. Now, guys, I don't know what's got to happen. I don't know if you guys need to, we need to complain about it. They need to beef up security, or they need to go and write a letter to the sheriff out in the sheriff station where they'll patrol it more or something. But we should not have to pay and be penalized not to be able to use the water sports because they got a few bad apples there that they don't know how to control. Now, there's some things that they can do, but again, we should not be penalized. I don't feel like we should pay and not have access to 24-hour fitness, and I mean total, the water and everything. So I'm a little ticked off at 24-hour fitness, and I hope that, because T told me, the assistant sales manager told me that they were going to push the time up to like 2 o'clock. I have not seen that happen yet, so I'm still a little pissed off, and I'm going to be talking about them until they get that thing done or until they resolve it. Again, we cannot be penalized. We cannot pay, and I'm told that the people that generally come in at those hours are the people that are using the guest pass. Well, that's not necessarily true, because the guest pass is you can only use that from 9 to 9. So if you've got people coming in that's getting high and doing all kind of things in 24-hour fitness, then something else has to be done. Something else has got to happen, or else we're going to have to take our membership somewhere else. We're going to have to go, and I got a problem living in Altadena and having to go to South Pasadena. I got a problem with working in Altadena and still having to go to South Pasadena. So guys, get it together. The other thing that I want to talk about today is, letter writing. Okay, I was talking to one of my friends here at the station, and we were talking about SCE, the phone company. We talked about, I don't know if you guys noticed that Washington Mutual it's now Chase Bank, and I'm highly ticked off at them. I went into Washington Mutual to cash a check of a client's. When I went in there to cash a check, what they said to me was that I had to pay $5 to cash someone else's check. Now, it was their client, it was their customer, but I had to pay $5. I really got a problem with that when I'm told, or when I read that all these bailouts and all this money that where they were down to like 3,500 people. So like, what happened to the other few thousand people? Then last night I read in the paper where they were talking about 250 of these wealthy people that had Swiss accounts, and the Swiss were going to have. So how the hell did it come from 5,000 people down to 250? So that I'm struggling with that. It's like, okay, we got all this money here. We've got all this money here. We've got all these things going on, and we're still having some problems. You know what I'm thinking? What I'm feeling like is this. I went to the bank today. I bank with Safeway Credit Union, and I have access to, I'm sorry, not Safeway, U.S. Bank. I went to access the ATM, and when I went to access the ATM, it was closed. It didn't work, or something was not working, and I thought, okay, this is interesting. Then I also asked for a balance inquiry, and it just popped up with nothing on it. And I thought, now this is really interesting. I don't understand how I couldn't get my balance, but that's okay. Then I thought about the depression. So I have a girlfriend, Maxine, and Maxine is in the 80s, and as a child, she's lived through the depression. And we were talking about it, and I asked her, I said, Maxine, what happened during the depression? What What went on? What was going? She says, all I remember, Rick, is when I was young that we had shoes with this cardboard in the bottom, and I remember that when that we didn't have food, we didn't have all these different things, and we, during the holidays, these people came and they took my brothers and I and my sisters and I. We went to go eat. What I'm thinking, people, I don't know about you, and I'm not trying to cause a panic, but what I am saying is this. When I go to the bank to access my money and I can't get it, I got a big problem with that. I got a big problem when I can't get when I inquire about my balance and I can't get that. I got a bigger problem with paying $5 to a bank that I have a client's check and I'm cashing it, and it's on their bank and it's their client, and I've got to pay to cash their check. I got a bigger problem with that. So with those three things, you know what my thought is? The heck with the banks. Get a coffee can, put your money in a coffee can and put it in the backyard. The banks don't need our money. They really don't. I don't get how they can charge us, how they can do all these things, not just the bank. And I'm not just ragging on the banks. I'm ragging on SCE. I'm ragging on the phone company. I was talking to a friend today and she was telling me that, here's a lady that's been paying her paying her light bill for, all these years, and all of a sudden she's $25 short and they cut off her electricity. Come on now. We're in one of the worst economic stages that we've been in many, many years. Many, many years. And right now, people have no jobs. They don't have food. They are killing each other. They're doing all these crazy, insane things because they don't have a job. So now then, you're going to come to people. Now, and I'm talking about businesses now. I'm talking about SCE. I'm talking about the phone company. I'm talking about the gas company. I'm talking about the banks. I'm talking about you guys working with us as people and having some empathy. I'm talking about we've been paying our bills all the time for all these years, and all of a sudden we hit a rough spot and you get really, really, uppity, and it's like, well, we're going to cut your stuff off. Now, listen, this is not nice. And what I'm saying to everybody, and what's going to happen if you keep playing with us like this, what needs to happen is we need to just one day stop buying gas. Just one day stop buying gas. One day don't use the telephone. One day don't use the gas. Just one day just go on a complete blackout and don't do anything and see how much money you lose. The car companies, I was talking to another lady. She's been paying her car payment every month for the last 4 years on time. She missed a car payment once this month and they picked up her car. How crazy is that? Then we wonder why these people get up and start killing their wife, killing their employers. And if so happens that we happen to be in the hospital visiting, or it so happens that we happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, guess what? We get caught in the crossfire. Why? Because some idiot is on the other side of the telephone talking to you like you're the worst person in the world because you're having some hardships. Listen, to all you people in collections, to all you people that are on the other end of the phone that act like you don't have this problem, or that your mothers don't have this problem, or your brothers don't have this problem, or your sisters or your children don't have this problem, shame on you. Shame on you. You're going to have to learn how to work with the people. Let me tell you something. If we don't have gas, if we don't have lights, if we don't have automobiles, if we don't have homes, if we don't have bank accounts, guess what? You're out of business. You don't have a job. You need to start treating your job just like you would want someone to treat your parents. We do not have to. We can start to ride our bicycles. We can start to do things a lot differently. I was at Purdue's a week ago or so, and I was treated pretty badly in there. And I decided to, I thought about it. I said, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, my business is just not appreciated. Not only is my business not appreciated, maybe they're just seeing me too much. I make it a point to go in and spend a few dollars to buy maybe a piece of cake, maybe odds and ends, maybe a sandwich. I make it a point to try to patronize these smaller businesses because the McDonald's, they're not having a struggle. These major food chains and franchises, they're not having a struggle. So I try to support the smaller businesses because I know what a hardship it is. But it is very disheartening to me when I go into a place of business and someone tells me, well, Rick, could you just kind of move to the side where I could help this other customer? Well, who am I? I'm a client, I'm a customer too. So, you know what? I decided, you know what? Maybe I need to start going to McDonald's. Maybe I do need to take that extra dollar and go to the supermarket and go home and cook myself something. And maybe you should think about that too. When you spend your dollars, whether it's $1, whether it's 50 cents, whether it's a quarter, whatever it is, you are keeping the business open. You are keeping a business open for a person. You are giving them a job, and you are allowing those doors to stay open. There are many businesses closing, and I'm talking about big businesses, Circuit City, even Charter, I'm told, is going to file a Chapter 13 or Chapter 11. I mean, hey, listen, this is no secret. I mean, there are major companies that are going out of business, and when we take the time to come to your establishment and spend $1, $2, $3, $4, and there are other places that would gladly receive our money, or there are other places, there are stores over at the Super King Market or wherever that is on Lake, whatever, Lincoln, the market over there behind Magic Johnson's. I mean, they've got some great deals in there. I mean, so hey, we can go home and cook. We don't necessarily have to come into your establishment and spend our money and patronize your business. Now, I am not saying that sometimes things happen, but I am saying this, that if we spend our money with you, whether it be for lights, gas, water, whether it be your restaurant, whether it be your bank, whether it be your gas station, whether it's, a food chain or, whatever it may be, even down to the telephone companies, cell phones and all of those. You know what? There was a time when we didn't have cell phones. There was a time when we didn't have televisions. There was a time when we didn't have a lot of things. And let me tell you something, if everything were gone in just one flash like this, we would survive. We would make it. We would make it. We'd have our gardens. We might have to go back to growing our own food. We might have to go back to cooking at home and not eating out so much. We might have to go back to making our own clothes. We might have to go back to learning how to unstop a toilet and how to just take a wrench and just unplug the little hook there where things are stopped up, instead of calling the electricians, instead of calling plumbers, we might have to go back to that. If we go back to the South, right, your neighbor right next door is the person that you ask, for a 6-pack of sodas or a 6-pack of beer, they'll come over there and you can fix the lights and do anything you want to do. You know what? Don't make us as people, don't make us have to resort back to the way we used to do things. Because you know what? It is so easy to start a cooking. They've got enough cooking classes on TV where we already know how. We've got grandmothers, great grandmothers that can show us how to use flour, show us how to use cornmeal, show us how to fry chicken. You know what I'm saying? It is not, a big mystery or a big wonder to learn how to know how to fry chicken. It's not a big mystery to learn how to barbecue. It's not a big it's not. It's that we've just gotten to a point where we just got a lot of time, that we don't have enough time. Let's just take our time, people, and let's just start checking out our surroundings and looking around us. I don't know if you saw on television this week where they caught the couple of people that did some very, very disgusting things to food and these are probably places that we have, in the past we've patronized. So now then, with those kind of ugly things going on and the people not acting right too, we might have to get back to basics. It's not going to be a bad thing. It's not going to kill us to fry our own chicken. It's not going to kill us to break out the barbecue pit in the back. It's not going to kill us to bake a cake. It's not. In fact, you know what it's going to do? It's going to bring us all together again. When we eat out, we don't see each other that much. We're just kind of scarfing down food, talking real fast. Let's get back to meeting again. Let's get back to bringing, you know what I'm saying, a casserole to one's home, and all of us sitting down and conversing and talking about what we're going to do with our money, how we're going to invest it, what we're going to buy, the things that we're going to do. Let's go back to getting close together again. You know what? Our parents bought homes years ago for 20, 30, 14, $15,000, and they were making less money than we make today. Let's get back to being families again. Let's get back to sitting down, conversing, and talking to each other and finding out what we can do to help each other make this thing come together. You know what? I've had a wonderful, wonderful time, and I'm so happy to have shared this time with you, and I'm glad that you've allowed me to come into your home. I hope that what I've said today makes some sense. And I hope that when your children come home, that you guys talk about it, and your husbands, you guys talk about it, and let's try to bring things back together again. Sometimes they just need to miss our money, and when they do, they start making allowances and they start working with us. Listen, I'm Rick the Critic, and I am so happy, so happy to be able to talk to you again. And this week, keep in mind that there's some things that we could do without. So, in your travels, when you're thinking about stopping and buying some chicken or buying some barbecue, you know what? Maybe not today. Maybe another day. Let's start cutting back. Let's start saving our money where we can start building an economy and building things to happen the way we want them to happen. We are the people. I'm Rick the Critic. Thanks again. Good night, and thank you.
She's Rick the Critic, 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 Rick the Critic. When she come into your place, yo, you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the Critic. When she all up in your city, yo, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it, let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if she's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick the Critic, 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 the Critic, Rick the Critic, Rick the Critic.